So a common mistake that people make when they go to mend a piece is that they just kind of like squish the two pieces together that are torn apart, and that often leaves rather large puckers. And I can get away with a certain amount of that because this didn't have too much of a gap. So the pucker will not show when I put the new patch on. But I can't get away with that as easily here. You can see that there's several of these long threads that attach this end to that end, which means that these guys used to cover and come together over that, and you've probably lost some of the fiber that has kind of gone across from one side to the other. So rather than squishing it together, which will create a large pucker at the end and will not serve because when the person goes to try on these pants again, it's actually going to be smaller because I've squished things together. So rather than doing that, I'm just going to create a little bit of a weave to bridge the distance and be able to hold the shape of the pants more or less when I attach the patch. So you see, I'm not pulling it together tight, I'm just bridging the distance with the thread, the new thread. So to build on the last segment, if you imagine all the textiles you've ever interacted with in your lifetime since you were a newborn, I want you to think of them as like a heap or a pile of textiles. How big would that pile be? What amount of textile do you think you've actually been responsible for purchasing and or using as something, you quote unquote owned over your lifetime? That's a lot of textile. For most of us, that's a lot of textile. And if you kind of relate to a time in the world when people were responsible for making their own clothing or even fabricating their own fibers, your relationship with that amount of textile in your life would be very different, because you understand what goes into the actual creation of it, the amount of time and energy. You would probably have a very different relationship with it when it breaks down as well. So one of the things that you can think about with respect to mending is that mending is an act of care. And it's not just a care that we have for the actual item, although it includes that. Sorry, I'm going to pause for a second. So you can see that I haven't clinched this tight. I've actually kept a bit of a space from this side to that. This is more clenched tight. This, I'm keeping a bit of a gap, but it's held together more than this big hole. Sorry, that's just a pause. So it's not just care for the actual item, it's care for yourself, it's care for nature and the world and resources, it's care for your community to actually mend. when we mend, we're not adding to the pile of pollution in the same way. When we take the time to mend somebody else's clothes, we're imparting our care, our thoughts, our concern, and our joy in helping to fix, repair, take care of the things in their lives that have importance to them, whether it's a functional thing or a thing of beauty or both. So the next time you go to patch a hole in your jeans or to mend a sock or a sweater, just remember the care and responsibility that you're enacting by doing that. It's a beautiful thing.